Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report for Wednesday, September the 15th. And we'll look at the market in the bigger picture in a few different ways, and then we'll drill in and have a look at what's going on in this space here. As I've mentioned before, that even though this is a bullish count, I would only turn bullish if we had a classic trading levels pattern sitting on the 50. So that would look like this here. So we've had the arrival, we've had the reaction, we've had the first high above the level, and now we've moved back below the level. So if we got up here and sat here and had support here, then we could go long from that point. So we've had the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and then the corrective pattern. So if we found support, it's not quite like this in this case, but if we found support on the 50, then we could go long from that point. The little tiny box in here is the 50-60% retracement level, 61.8 from the high to the low. So anything above that would also prove that it was bullish at that point. Yeah, there is a slightly different count for this as well that we should, not that one, beg your pardon. This one here, slightly different. It could also fit as well. We don't need to see that, so we can have that there. So in this case, it's a slightly different thing where we have 1 and 2 here and 3 and 4 here. So this line is the probably a tad lower. That's the 38.2% retracement level. So as a wave 4, that's possible, and that would give us. In this case, we'd have to look at all of this as just the arrival and the reaction here, then the first high above the level, then the ABC pattern. So that's also possible as well. I just thought I'd throw that in today. I haven't seen that one. So the bearish count for all of this as well. So yeah, I mean, this has got just as much chance as the other ones have, with wave 5 top, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, an A and a B and a C for the B wave, and we go down for 1 and we go back for 2, and then we head lower at that point. So really the answer to the puzzle lies within this little space here, of course, for all of these counts. And to find the answer, yes, in the early stages would be in the guessing game, but as it matures, we can eliminate certain things and include others and put more weight on certain things. We're not really at that stage yet. We're just really sort of, working through this pattern, trying to figure it out a little bit, and it just takes a bit of time to do that. This is there's a few different ways we can look at this pattern here as well, but one thing is for sure is that we're seeing an impulse wave to the upside here. So an impulse wave is a 5-wave structure. So yeah, we can look at this in different ways. So let's just go into the hourly chart and take a closer look at this. So we were talking about it yesterday, just from the top here. We could look at this as the A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C wave here. You know that I'm not that big on spikes, but yeah, so an A and 3 waves here for the B wave, and then up for the C wave to make the B wave up into this box here. These two variations here, one is taken from this low and one is taken from this low here. Not that it's a big deal, because we'll be looking at the 5 waves that move into this little move through here. So we either finish the 5 waves, right, and then we go down for wave C at this point. And this is the 50-60% retracement level. So that's one thing. The other thing that we could look here for is after the 5 waves that have moved up here, we could look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave pulling back 50 or 60%, and then moving up from that point. In that case, we would look to go long above here for that. This can also be counted a little bit differently here as well. We could look at this here as an A, B, C, D, and E wave over here, and then down for the 5th wave here, and that would also leave wave A over here. And then this would be wave B. So wave B in this case would need to be in 3 waves if wave A is here. So the 5 waves up here would come back 50-60% in 3 waves, and then have another 5 waves to the upside, taking us closer to the 50-60%, and then we would have to put wave B over here for this. So as you can see, there's a few variations of things that can occur here. This pattern down below here, as we talked about yesterday, was kind of in this space here where, you know, when we first came down to the 30,000, so this is different here, you know, when the market, we had the big bear market and it came down to 30,000. So all of this pattern in here, this is kind of what we're going through at the moment. Yeah, it's this, you know, it's never identical, but it's the same kind of thing. So as I mentioned yesterday, because we went through this experience, that in hindsight and looking back at it, it's probably not a good idea to have a strong opinion about what's occurring, you know, in this space at the moment for all of this, you know, because we just end up in the guessing game and all of this sort of stuff. That was, you know, when the market dropped here, we had that low come into play, right? But it took all that time for another low to come into place over here for this, to get that initial low. So we haven't really breached that initial low. We've had a couple of little lows in here in the meantime with all of this, these lows here. But even this one hasn't breached this low here just yet. So we could look at this down through here. As I mentioned, you can just look at it. Wave A could be here. It's valid if you've got it there, and it's also valid to be over here as well. So we just need to see how this plays out in terms of that little moving to the upside here. We can look at the tick chart for that. It's 20 enough. Yeah, so just in this case, this kind of sums it up here a little bit too. So we could look at the A wave to here, then an A and a B and a C wave here. I'm not worried about that spike there because I just rather sort of, I know it was real, but you know, it's just fake news. Twitter and Walmart dancing the lights, fantastic. So this, yeah. So you know, we could look at. I think one of the best counts is this wave 4 here that I've got dulled out here, and that would be the A wave, the B wave, the C wave, the D wave, and the E wave here, because each one of these will be in 3 waves, except for this little move here. So there's a good possibility that even though that's the low, it's possible that this could be the low over here. So I've got wave 5 of A here for this. If that's true, then we would need to see 3 waves up here, as I just mentioned. We'd need to see this 5 waves, would need to see some type of correction coming back, 50-60%, and then another move up here for this. I'm just taking it to the 50,000, even though it's way above the 61.8%, because markets like sort of seeing large numbers, you know, so the psychology of it all. So yeah, so we still got a bit to figure out, you know. I mean, and if it finds support up here, well, by all means, we'll be looking to go long. This little structure that's in here, pulled it apart a little bit. We talked about wave 1 and 2 here yesterday. We talked about being long above these high, these high and this high. So far, so if we look at wave 2 being here, we can count this as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and all the way up 4. Have I done that right? Let me just double check. Yeah, that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then a little bit dodgy here, but 1 and 2 and, well, we'll just call all that 3, 4 and 5 there for the third wave and the fourth wave, and then we're going up for the fifth wave here. So there's still a bit more to go. So I would have imagined that if you're looking for a target, then the 48, the 8's a profit-taking number. So that would be a nice number to play to at this point, and we'll see how we go from there. But either way, once we get up here, then we're going to, you know, this could just be the A wave up here, but we'll put the B wave there for the time being, and if that's the case, then we'll have it over here. So from that low to that high there, then if we're going to pull back, we can pull back into this space. Probably not very good. We can adjust that later depending on the height anyway. So yeah, so what we could expect is two things here, is we move up to here, and then we get to here, and then we have some sort of ABC correction back to the 50-60%, and then we move up here, and then we come down, or we find support up there, or otherwise we come down here, and we need to look at this as 5 waves moving down here for wave C here. Don't have a wave 5 there, but that's okay. Yes, we do. That's cool. You know, somewhere down into this space, closer to the 40, because that's our sort of 50-60% retracement level. So yeah, we could end up doing something like this at that point. So we're either going to come back for an ABC and then go up and have one more high and then come down. But if we're going to continue up there, then we will, you know, this will either be wave B over here, and then we come down here, or if it's going to be bullish from another count, then we're going to see the first high above the level, and we'll have some sort of way to move in at that point, and we'll be looking to go long at that point. So we're not going to miss much. We just need to be a little bit careful about, you know, what we're doing at this point. So yeah, just to recap this, let's just go back to a bit of a cleaner page here. So was it the 1 hour? That's okay. Yeah, it's pretty clean here. So we can count 5 waves moving up through here. So when we get to the top here, maybe 48, that would be a reasonable call. We can have an ABC correction back to the 45, and then we can push up for wave B, and then we can come down at that point for wave C. And this is our 40, 50, 60% retracement level. So that's kind of what we're looking at. We could just do it from here and then come down, or we could go to here first, then up and then down. So there's a few variations within all of this. I'll try and keep it as simple as possible, but like I said, it's not really until the whole thing matures that we're really going to know where we're at with this, you know. I have to say though, it's kind of looking more bullish corrective than impulsive to the downside. Do you know what I mean? So just sort of viewing all of this here, this is a bit of a picture of, you know, the low that happened when we first went down to 30,000. You know, it's a kind of, it's the bottoming of something. It's just like a ball bouncing and petering out, and then, you know, it's almost like a triangle sort of finding its pivot point, you know, its apex. And it doesn't need a lot of volume to push something around at that particular point in time. So, I mean, if it was bearish, so to speak, you know, if we were looking at this bearish pattern here, like more to the downside here, it's possible that we're going back up for wave 2 at the moment, because we'd have to look at the first move down as wave 1 of 1 degree or another, and the move going back up to wave 2. It's possible, but just the way that it's sort of dribbled around here just reminds me of all of this here in here. You know, it's just this is a small version of when this came down to this point, and we're in all of this at the moment, you know. So even if we do make a new low, it comes down for the 5th wave here, we come back down to this point here, it does feel like it's sort of doesn't feel like it's this big bearish move here. I mean, it could be, but it's and I'm just guessing a little bit. It's just that it doesn't see, but we'll see how the retest goes with the 50,000. There's still a while to go just yet, and you know, I think, is it Ethereum? Yeah, we'll just have a quick look at Ethereum. Yeah, it's doing the same thing as well here. We could count this as an A, B, C, D, and E here for the wave 4, and down for wave 5 of A here, and then going up here for the B wave up here. It's not really pushing up high here like it has done with Bitcoin. Bitcoin sort of, you know, visiting these old highs up here, so it's lagging a little bit here, but I'm sure it counts in 5 waves and it's fine. But yeah, it's got all that sort of bottoming sort of factor. So we could look at it as 1 and 2 and 3 and, well, an A, B, C, D, E here for wave 4 and then down for wave 5. But otherwise we'll look at it as wave B, because we've got a nice, we could look at this as an A and a B and a C wave for the A wave, and then an A and a B and a C for the B wave here, and then going up for the C wave here. Doesn't, even if it makes it to the 3,500, it'll be pretty exhausted the time it gets there, I'd imagine. So perhaps look at that price point for this. I mean, of course, it can go high, but it's following. It's not leading at the moment, And if that was going to be wave A here, well then that can't be wave B or C there. We would need to see 3 waves here. So if wave A is here, then we would need to see, something like this for that. Some B wave there. So it looks like the A wave may need to go over here for that, as an A and a B and a C. But the thing with that, this is my point, because this here as a wave 2, having this as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave is okay for a wave 2, but it's rather big in terms of time and amplitude compared to the first move down, So it's kind of reminding me of the whole thing is bullish corrective. That's what I'm sort of getting from it at this point. But like I said, we're sort of, we're still in the guessing game of all of this at the moment. So we'll just continue to chill, and we'll see. What we'll do is we'll just wait for these 5 waves to go up, the same as Bitcoin. We'll wait for it to come down, and we'll see. We'll see if it comes down further at that point and makes the low there, or comes back down here's 50-60% and then moves up again at that point. But we'll just see how all that plays out. So we've got a way to go just yet for all of this. Okay, I'm just thinking out loud to myself. Alrighty, well, we'll just leave it at that. So I don't really have any answers just yet, but I think that's okay at this stage. Like I said, if 50 becomes the support, we'll go long. Otherwise, we just need to be a bit patient and allow this to play out here, and let's see if we end up, on the 40,000, and we'll look at how the pattern is at that point. And as I just mentioned, it's kind of looking like that it won't come all the way down here, because it's kind of looking like more of a bullish pattern in here, even though that it can still move up and move back down here. So there's still different ways that this could play out, and I just think if we're patient and just keep studying the patterns, it'll become obvious at some point, and then we can make a move from that point. Alrighty, cheers.